Hello, everybody. Today is December 18th, 2020, the final episode of the year, episode 26 of the Blender podcast. Today I'm joined by Alex, my co host, and it's going to be a two-man crew today.
It's been a while.
It's going to be a fairly chill one. We're just going to talk about stuff and things in life as every
Yeah,
other episode.
of course.
But,
I feel like the last time we
uh-huh.
did just the two of us was when we were talking about mattresses.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're talking
Oh,
about because you moved into a new house around that time.
yep.
Yeah,
That mattress I ended up choosing, very good. Um, so let's get started. We'll
yeah.
go simple. I don't have much topics. What are your holiday plans, man? What do you got going on this holiday
See my
season?
holiday plans.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna go to my mom's on Christmas just because apparently there's a party going on that I didn't know about until like 20 minutes ago.
Right on.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been wondering what I would be doing. I don't have any. Other than going to that party, and I work the next day, so it's not like I'm going to be there for long. Because I'm gonna show up, be like, "Hey, I hate everyone here, so I'm gonna go home."
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have any money to buy presents. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry,
You're
Kevin.
all
I
good,
can't
dude.
give you a gift this year.
We live a little too far away at the moment, so it's all right.
Yeah. Um. I'll tell you. Whenever I spend a lot more money on like you and like all my other friends rather than my family for Christmas. Like I remember, like what I get you last year. I got you an Octorok. Like
No, you got me a
shoot,
Splatoon gun. I'm looking at it right now. It's hung up on my wall in front of me.
was that last year or was that? Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
thought I got you an Octorok that shot balls.
Oh no, yeah, no, you bought me that. It's in my shelf behind me.
Ah, yeah. And then I think an eShop gift card for like 30 or $50 around. And I bought everyone else gifts too. I got really sad because I got Giovanni a really sick Nerf gun because I thought he'd like to use it to mess with people, and then he
Uh-huh.
got it, and then like we met up one day, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really use it." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
yeah.
hard to shop for Giovanni."
It's a tough man he is.
Tough
Uh
man.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Work after,
Other than that, for holiday, my anniversary with my girlfriend's coming up,
Oh,
so we're going to Disney World. Great.
wow.
So you planning for this was fucking hell because originally the plan was for me to go to Vegas to see her, and we were gonna go to a hotel, and then like I don't know if
The
Vegas was
fancy
gonna have
hotel
their
or something.
fireworks show,
Yeah.
but even if they don't, I don't care. If there was a fireworks show, we'd watch it from the window just because like we don't want to fucking go into huge crowds because of COVID.
Yep.
And yeah, I was just gonna have a great time, take her to dinner and all that, and blah blah blah. And then like out of nowhere, she calls me after a dentist appointment. No, an orthodontist appointment. Like literally a month ago. She was like, "Alex, what if we went to Disney World?" I'm like, I mean, I can check. And prices for Disney World tickets were $200 each
Yep.
for a 5-day park hopper pass because of military discount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always I always get hella sketched when I ask for Disney World or Disneyland tickets because they're always like, "Oh yeah, you have to be active military to get these tickets." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm active, sure."
You're
They
all
don't check, so
good.
it doesn't matter.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Originally, we were supposed to get a 4-day park hopper pass,
Uh-huh.
but if I wanted to get the 4-day one, I would have to go to the naval base.
Mm-hmm.
But I called them. They're like, "Yeah, to get the tickets, we have to order them online, and then they ship the tickets here. Then we give you the tickets." I'm like, "Okay, I don't have that long because reservations are filling up because of they're only at like 20 to 30% capacity.
Yep.
So once you get your ticket, you have to reserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Reserve what park you're going to that day, and if the parks are full, you can't go." Um, and so I was like, I can't wait 2 weeks because it's going to get booked up in full.
Yep.
So then I called I called an army base because I'm like, I can go there, and like they're like, "Oh yeah, we got the tickets." So I'm like, "What the fuck, Navy?" They had tickets, but they only had the 5-day, 5 and 6 day
Okay.
passes. They didn't have the 4-day ones, and I was like, "Okay, we'll do 5-day." So it's just an extra day. It's whatever.
But
And so yeah, planning
uh-huh.
for it was shit. I'll say planning for it was really hard because
That that's how
I
it
had to
usually is.
yeah, I had to because it was so last second. I had to save up for the tickets. I had to call and ask where I would stay because I definitely don't have enough money to get a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I did if I didn't buy these tickets, I would. But like, because like I had enough money to get for a hotel and everything if I went to Vegas, because it's not
Yeah.
like we're going to an amusement park for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But since I spent all my money on the tickets, I had no money to buy a hotel or anything. And so I was like, okay, I called my aunt. My aunt said I could stay at her place because she lives about an hour away from Disney. And then my grandma also lives an hour away. And if I stay at my aunt's place, like I have to stay with my aunt, like because it's her house. But my
Yeah.
grandma has several properties in Florida that she owns.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, Alex, you could stay at one of these
Oh my
properties." And I'm like,
god.
"Oh hell yeah!" But also, I didn't know about like Wi-Fi or anything like that, or like how else we're gonna do stuff. And plus, my aunt just offered to pay for everything while I was there. I was like,
Oh
"Okay,
my
whatever."
god. What a auntie.
Yeah, I know. And then like the current issue is cars because like we already got tickets to go there, we got a place to stay, we got money for food and everything. Um, But
Uh-huh.
we have a car because my aunt has a few cars,
Yeah.
but she has a Jeep that's a stick shift, and I'm like,
You
I don't know
better
how to
learn,
drive
dude.
stick,
You better
dude. I
learn.
was like, I don't know how to drive stick, and then she's like, oh, okay, whatever, you can borrow my truck, I guess. And I was like, okay, sweet. And she's like, yeah, but I'm gonna have to use my truck a few times while you're here to work on the farm that that I'm working on. I'm like, are
Mm.
you fucking serious? So like it's either I learned stick shift in like the next 2 weeks, or um, we take her truck and she has like
Mm-hmm.
the power to just take it and like I want to go to the park at a certain time, and it's suddenly the truck is gone because
Uh,
she had to use.
my college roommate, he bought a Jeep, and it was stick shift, and he literally learned how to use stick shift through YouTube. So if he could do it, I'm sure you can do it. Just don't burn out the
That's true.
clutch.
I mean, Adam was
Adam.
here, and he has a Jeep
Yeah.
and has stick shift. I could just ask him.
Yeah.
Um,
Just practicing his.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah, that's a good idea. Other than that, that's all I got planned for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up with you for the holidays? You
Well,
coming over? You make out?
when's your anniversary? What is it?
Oh yeah, it's
January?
January 1st.
January what?
January 1st.
First? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, mine's coming up.
that's when we had our first date.
Mine's coming up February.
Yeah. No, that's nice. What February when?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would, because I know you guys went to see the Sonic movie around
I
that
know.
time.
Yeah, I know. I saw it before.
I'm like, so that's how I know it's February.
It's it's February. It's not Valentine's Day. When did I see that Sonic movie? I think it was the 7th.
Not with me.
Not with you.
Dude, I was actually like hella heartbroken.
Oh, relax. I bought you tickets.
I know. No, I wasn't heartbroken. What happened was I was in my living room with Erica and Adam,
Hmm.
and then I was like, "Yeah, Kevin and I are gonna see the Sonic movie. It's gonna be lit." And then like, so I call you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, dude," because like while we were planning it, admittedly, we didn't say for sure we were gonna go. It was
Yeah.
just like an idea. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna tell him that we should do it." And I call you, and you're like, "Sorry, dude, I'm actually booked that day. I'm seeing it with a girl." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
She Caroline asked me out, and then for to see the Sonic movie on our second date, which I think was on the 15th, and I think that's when we dubbed our official anniversary.
That's nice. That's
Um,
nice, dude.
so my holiday plans, I was originally gonna go to California. I bought a whole new car, and I got a bunch of new stuff for my car, and
Like
California ends
road
up
trip?
shutting down. Yeah, I was gonna road trip there,
Uh,
but I
that sounds
figured
fun.
it's not that safe. Um,
Mm, I
like
see.
half LA County is like down. They're like quarantined. It's like, yeah, I don't really want to risk it for my little nephew. So my dad's in Japan. I don't have um immediate family aside from my uncle on his side. So I'm just gonna go hang out with my girlfriend, who doesn't have family here either, and with her roommate. He doesn't have family here either. So we're all just gonna chill. Um, Maybe drive up to the mountains.
Oh, when are you guys hanging out?
When?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever I go there.
Ah,
Her roommate got back from Florida, from COVID testing, and he has to get tested first before I can visit. But
well, why?
if you want to come to the mountains on the 24th, hit me up. We could take you.
On the 24th, fuck,
Yeah.
dude, that sounds tempting as shit.
What are you doing on the 24th, boy?
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So right now, nothing. All right.
Okay.
20 minutes ago, before because I got on the computer at like 4 p.m. I was like, all right, I'll wait 30 minutes ahead of time to
Yeah.
record. And so as I'm waiting, my mom calls me. She's like, Alex. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, just doing. She's like, how are you doing? How's your recovery from your surgery going? I'm like, it's going okay. And she's like, yeah. He's like, when are you gonna visit me? I'm like, I've been like busy because of work and my surgery. I don't like driving around too much.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you're gonna visit me when I'm dead, aren't you? And I'm like,
Oh
what
my
the
god.
fuck? And I guess she was joking, but she sounded
Yeah.
like serious, and I'm like, what the hell?
Your mom has like a deadpan attitude when it comes to that stuff. It's great.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Are you gonna come for Christmas?" I'm like, "I guess." I was like, "Is there a party?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, why am I just hearing about this now? Why are you asking me if I'm gonna come when you did tell me there was a party?" And then so I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go." She's like, "Are you gonna come on the 24th on the night before?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." Because right now, Amazon, what I learned last year is
Uh-huh.
that because a lot of people are taking time off and stuff, there's a lot of they put up a lot of open shifts at like hella early in the morning.
Yeah.
Like last year, I went ham on taking shifts at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, bro. Save for that Disney trip.
Yeah, dude. So I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'll work on the 24th or the 25th
Mm-hmm.
because I don't work on the 25th because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
But they could open up a slot to work at like 1 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And during these times where they open up these extra shifts, if you take the shift and you clock in, they automatically put your name in a raffle and you could win a flat like a smart TV.
Oh, okay.
I learned that last year because I was the shift after the extra shift,
Mm-hmm.
so people would come into the extra shift and I'd be like, okay, we're giving away 3 TVs to these people. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And so the extra shifts that I worked, sadly, I did not win any TVs last year. But it doesn't hurt to try. And then like my mom yelled at me over the phone. It's like, "Oh, you care about working more than your family?" I'm like, "No,
No.
it's just that like I need money. B, it's a free TV. Why not try?"
Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
see a point. I don't see a point in not trying.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I don't get it, I'm getting money for working extra. So like, I don't see it. It's not a lose-lose in any way for me.
I just don't get to see you. Well,
Yeah,
I'm not seeing any of my family, so
it's okay, bro.
don't
We'll hang out.
don't feel as bad if you decide to take work up for a certain day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't work on the 24th, and if you want to chill that day, I will drive up to Renton and I will uh, sleep in your bed with you or something. I don't know.
We we're gonna drive down or drive to Mount Rainier on the 24th and maybe go a little bit of sledding. Test out my new all-terrain tires that are snow rated. So we're gonna have a little fun.
Dude, the mountains are fucking intimidating as shit.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went. I was in Ohio like 4 or 5 years ago for a trip. We went up a mountain that was huge, and like they're like, "Oh, you guys want to try like snowboarding or skiing or sledding or something?" And I looked over the edge of the mountain, like not over the edge, of course, because it's like a slope,
Yeah.
but like just seeing how high we are, I was like, I'd rather just stay in the center of this mountain range and not go anywhere near the slopes.
Right.
Yeah, we went on one of those thingies that like those chairlift thingies.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ski
Yeah, those
lift.
things scare. Yeah, those things scare me.
Right on. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any other plans. Maybe like cook a nice steak dinner on Christmas Day, FaceTime our individual families, and open gifts.
Mm,
I bought my nephew a shit ton of Hot Wheels, and
fuck yeah,
apparently
dude.
he opened like a car pack and a track when my sister wasn't looking, and he opened it in his like little like play area, and he said, "Mommy, Daddy, look what I found." And you're like, "Boy, where'd you get that?" And he's like, "I found it." And then eventually he gussed up and he opened it up in his like little rocket ship tent. I'm like, "You little
Oh my
asshole, dude." But I
god.
bought him like two expensive ass Hot Wheel sets. I'm like, he's gonna love this shit, dude. I would play with that stuff.
Dude, Hot Wheels are so fun.
Yeah.
Like, even as an adult, I totally love to play with Hot Wheels and Legos. Like my two
Hmm.
favorite things.
But yeah, I don't have anything for New Year's planned. So I'm on a 2 week vacation right now. I'm off work.
I mean, hey, buddy, if you got like $200, I'll go to base, buy you a ticket to Disney World.
I think my work tickets. Last time I checked, don't quote me. Um, there's probably not like some. It was like 180 something for a Disneyland ticket, but I don't think it was like a 5 day pass though.
Yeah, it because so I went onto the Disney website and I was like, how much are these 5 day tickets? 5 day tickets were like 250, so it's like $50 a day.
Okay.
Um, Normal tickets for one day are $110.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and I'm like, holy shit, for one day.
My Universal tickets a couple years ago was like we got it on a discount and it was like only $80. Like shit per person. God damn.
Yeah, I remember when Micah, Alec, and I went to Disneyland
Mm-hmm.
and for my 21st birthday back in 2017, and like I bought them for it was like $130 each for 3 day passes,
Hmm.
and I was like, I didn't know how much Disney tickets were, and Alec was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. I'm like, okay, cool,
Okay, chill, fucking chill, dude. It's just Disney.
chill. But
Okay,
yeah,
good
yeah,
stuff.
dude, good
So
stuff.
we'll move on to the next topic. What's up week? If you don't know this segment, it's where you basically talk about how your week's been. Doesn't have to be this week. It could be any other week. We do these episodes like mainly once a month, so it should probably be like what the heck is up
What's up,
month.
mom? Like, just what's up, life?
What's up, life? So what's up, Alex? What's up with you?
Dude, what's up? What's up with my life,
Yeah.
bro? Dude, I've been going through a lot this past
Oh,
month.
oh my God.
Not
I.
okay. Outside of the surgery, I've just had a lot of shit going on
Mm-hmm.
because back in September, Amazon terminated me
Mm-hmm.
because I was on military orders and they thought I was skipping work. They rehired me without telling me, so they're like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna get terminated if you don't show up." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I was already terminated." He's like, "Yeah, but like you're rehired." I'm like, "Since when?"
Oh my God.
And so I had to deal with that. And then a week after I got rehired, I was gone from Amazon I was out of work for like a month and a half because
Mm-hmm.
of that. Yeah, and so I was like, well, you guys are rehiring me at a difficult time because I have surgery in a week. And so they're like, fuck. And so they said, oh, we'll take care of it so you won't get any absent time.
Yeah.
And so I get my surgery done and I fill out the stuff and all that jazz. And like after my surgery, I find out that they didn't take care of it. And I had negative 70 hours in work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so normally you get 40 hours of leave time, like
Mm-hmm.
unpaid leave, outside of your vacation and sick leave. So you get 40 hours extra, and like often I use that to like if I'm sick and like but I would just or if I just oversleep and I don't feel like going to work.
Yeah.
But like I, so like during those 2 weeks they took out every hour because like I'm gone for 2 weeks of work for my surgery and like during that time they counted it as like me skipping work
Man.
and so yeah I was like I literally got that sorted out 3 days ago like finally.
Dude, these people sound very incompetent And we need to find
Yeah,
you a
like,
different
my
job
my
that pays better.
yeah, the HR at my warehouse, they're superheroes because they're like, what the hell, what's going on?
Yeah,
And they were on that shit. I'm like, thank you.
that's because they're
Uh,
trying
they're
not to
trying
get
to
Amazon
not get
sued.
yeah. But the surgery. Let me tell you about the surgery.
Okay.
So like the night before the surgery, so like I had to get COVID tested on the 7th, not because of symptoms, just because I have surgery, and they're like, yeah, you need to get tested before surgery just to make sure you don't have it. I'm like, okay. I get tested, comes back negative, blah blah blah. On the 8th of November, the night before the surgery, I could not sleep because I had to. We had to leave because my check-in time for the surgery was at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm like, why the
Oh,
fuck? Like, why the fuck is it so early?
yeah.
And so we had to wake up at like I woke up at 3:30 that night before,
Mm-hmm.
and they said I had to shower. So I woke up early, so I showered at 3:30, and then we left around 4 a.m. And then it's in the surgery was in Seattle, so it was like an hour to hour and a half drive.
Okay.
Uh, the night before, I couldn't get any sleep, so like my girlfriend was sleeping, and I was just on my phone, like watching like VTuber videos like
Mm-hmm.
all night because I was like, I'm so nervous, like I don't know what's gonna happen. And I get there immediately when I check into the hospital, they take my phone. I'm like, what's gonna happen to me?
They knock
I was
you
like,
out.
they take my phone. They grab me by the neck. No, they take my phone, and I'm just like waiting, and eventually like 30 to 40 minutes pass, and I'm playing Smash Bros because I'm connected to the Wi-Fi
Yeah.
of the hotel, so I'm playing Smash Bros online on my Switch. And they take me back, and they have me, change into that little, the little robe thing
Yeah.
that yeah. And then like I'm freezing. It's like 6 or 6:30 a.m. And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting even longer. And I'm like, I'm cold. And apparently the thing they gave me is a heated gown that they
Oh.
hook a tube into it and it blows hot air that circulates throughout the entire gown. And I'm like, holy shit, this is so innovative.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm sitting there and I wait even longer. My surgeon comes by, is like, hey, it's gonna be good. It's like the surgery is gonna be like 2 hours. I'm like, holy shit, 2 hours? Why are you making me come in at 5 a.m.? Because
Ooh.
apparently, like, I don't know, 2 hours seems fast for a surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so my anesthesiologist comes in, they hook up the IV to my hand, and like I started like turning pale and getting like nauseous because I don't like things penetrating my veins.
Or in
It felt
general.
weird. And so like my anesthesiologist is like, "Oh, this is your first time under anesthesia." Oh, sorry, that's racist. He was Asian. No, hold on.
Roll it back.
He was like he had a really thick accent.
Okay.
And he was a really nice dude. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's your first time, so we're gonna put you under general anesthesia, like general whatever." I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, sure. I guess it's gonna turn out fine." And then they're like, "Okay," like Dr. Feldman leaves. 30 minutes pass, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm assuming I'm gonna have to wait here for maybe a few more hours."
Mm-hmm.
And so 2 hours passed since I got into the surgery area. So it's like 7:30. Not
Yeesh.
not surgery. 2 hours passed since I got into the hospital.
Okay.
It's like 7:30. And I was like, okay. And then they're like, all right, Dr. Feldman's ready to see you. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
They made me get up so fucking early.
Yeah. So like yeah. And so I don't know. I thought it would be longer, honestly, because 2 hours. The 2 hours I got there like went by fast, like
Okay.
super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it'd be way longer. And so I was like, no, I'm like, my heart wasn't ready. And
Yeah.
so they're like, it's okay. I'm going to put this in your IV and then you'll start to not care. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
uh oh.
god.
And I'm like, uh oh. So then um, I'm hella nervous and I'm still like feeling like nauseous from the
Mm-hmm.
IV being in me just because I'm like, oh man, I hate this feeling.
Yeah.
And so she wheels me off in a wheelchair to the operating room. And I'm memorizing the halls. I'm like, what if this is the last thing I see? What if I don't wake up?
Oh my god.
'Cause I was having
So
those
dramatic.
thoughts because I was hella scared.
Uh-huh.
And so I pull up in the room. I'm like, where is my doctor? Where's the surgeon?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, he's not in the room yet. He's ready though. I'm like, okay, sure. they lay me down on the thing, and the surgery, like, when you look at like TV shows and movies, you see like surgeons in
Yeah.
surgery rooms. They don't look. I don't know. Mine didn't look anything like the ones that I thought they would look like. And so they lay me down, and my anesthesiologist is like, "Okay, we're gonna start applying the anesthesia now." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I asked, I was like, "Are you gonna be one of those like anesthesiologists that's gonna say something weird like?" Before I pass out, like how some people have stories of their anesthesiologist saying, "Wait, something's wrong," right? Before you knocks out, just to freak them out.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Oh, it's your first time, so I'm not gonna do that." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." I'm like, "So when's the anesthesia is going in my IV," and I'm like, "So when's it gonna kick in?" And then that's the last thing I remember.
That's great.
I wake up super dizzy and like I don't know what's going on. Like I'm not even in my room yet. I wake up in a wheelchair in like a hallway, and like there's blood coming out of my mouth and nose. And I have a nurse being like, "Hey, can you just say your name?" I'm like, I'm Alex. I'm Alex. She's like, "Okay, good. Can you say the first line of your home address?" I'm like, "Okay." So I do that. And, like, I guess they're just trying to make sure I'm okay. And then I knock out again in the hallway, like as I'm like super bloody. And I wake up in my hotel room, fuck, in my like the room like where patients go. I woke up in my room, and I have an ice pack like strapped to my face. I have a bunch of stuff attached to me, and they're like, "Yeah, the surgery went well. It's good." Yeah, and I was hella swollen. Like
man.
my teeth were banded together with like rubber, like those rubber bands used for like orthodontist stuff, but like they were a lot stronger. And they're like, "Yeah, those are going to be there for the first day because we want to make sure your mouth is like set in the right place just for the healing and all that." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And it's like 11 a.m. and I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I went into surgery at around 7:30 to 8, and I wake up at 11 a.m. And I was like, "How long is the surgery?" And my doctor, like, because he came in, he's like, "Oh, it's about 2.5 hours." I'm like, "What the hell?" And so I'm like sitting in the room. I don't have my phone yet. I don't have my Switch yet. So I'm just like sitting there, like looking out the window, like looking out into Seattle, like, dude, why am I here? Because like I was in so much pain. Like painkillers didn't do shit. Yeah. And so I pass out, and I wake up, and my girlfriend's walking into the room because she was visiting Washington during that time. And I'm like, "You're here." And I was so happy because my doctor said people aren't allowed in the hospital, like visitors aren't. And so she came because apparently they are. And he was just misinformed because apparently the hospital is changing the rules constantly. And they don't even know what's going on half the time, which is really stupid. And like she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here to." They said I could stay the night. I'm here to take care of you and all that. I'm like, "Oh my God, you're beautiful. I love you."
Aww.
Yeah, and like I'm just sitting there, and I'm in and out of sleep constantly. And then my girlfriend's talking with one of the nurses because like she was around our age, and she was talking to one of the nurses, and like I kept waking up in and out of sleep, and so that happened, like the in and out of sleep. It happened up until 9 p.m.
Ooh.
So I was like waking up, looking out the window, saying hi to my girlfriend, and then like knocking out, waking up, and just repeat process. And the time finally came. I had to use the bathroom. I'm like, "Crap, I gotta use the bathroom because I'm not about to have a catheter."
Yeah.
I'm not
I don't want to think about that.
Not about to have that.
Yeah.
I'm not letting that happen. The first time I tried to pee, it was around 12 in the afternoon, like an hour after I woke up. And they're like, "Is it not coming out?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's not coming out yet. Please don't hurt me." And then they're like, "Oh, it's okay. Just wait. We'll just wait until later. If you can't pee later, it's whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." So then I couldn't pee still while sitting down, and this is like at 9 p.m. My girlfriend was there. She's like, "Oh, here, what if you stood up?" So she helped me stand up to pee. And the second I started peeing while I was standing up, the second I started doing it, just blood started gushing out my nose. And I'm like, oh my god. And it got on the floor, it got over my gown, it got on my arm, and I'm like, man, I'm having a bad time.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Like, while I'm peeing.
He just needs to pee.
Dude, the hospital fucking sucked.
Right on.
Like, yeah, so they kicked my girlfriend out because they said she could stay, but the person that said she could stay was misinformed, and apparently guests aren't allowed to stay the night. And she brought clothes and everything to stay the night. And I was hella upset, and she was upset, so she had to leave. And then I still didn't have my phone yet, so I was just sitting there at like 9 p.m. doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they give me my phone because I asked for it. I'm like, why didn't you just give me my stuff after like I got in my room?
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, I got my phone finally, but I'm in so much pain that I can't concentrate to do anything, like play a game or watch YouTube or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just play like my sad boy playlist, and I was just like, I'm just gonna listen to this and try to fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
So sad boy playlist plays for approximately from 9 p.m. to about 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So about 4 hours, and I'm trying to sleep during those 4 hours. I'm like, I can't sleep, and I'm like, hey, I need more painkillers. So they're giving me painkillers constantly. Like I'm like looped up on different painkillers.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, we have oxycodone. And then my mom always yelled at me because like he's like, oh, it's addictive, you shouldn't take it. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna get addicted if I take it once for surgery.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, yo, hit me with oxycodone. They hit me with it. I knock out, like the pain goes away. I knock out for a good 2 hours, and I wake up at like 3 a.m. And I'm up from 3 a.m. like till the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I asked one of the nurses at 3 a.m. I was like, hey, when can I take the wires out? He's like, oh, Dr. Feldman will take those out in the morning. I'm like, fuck, what time in the morning? He's like, anywhere between 7 or 10 a.m. I'm like, I cannot have this pain. Because other than the pain of the surgery, my jaw, because the bands were so strong, clenching my teeth together, it just hurt so much. Because it's like when you're like, just clench your teeth super hard and imagine that for like 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. And yeah, so I finally start using my phone at like 3 or 4 a.m. because I'm like feeling better after all the oxycodone. Then it wears off. Then they give me more painkillers, and I'm like, I'm just having a bad time, and I'm just on my phone. I can't sleep, and I'm up looking at the clock constantly. Like, okay, between 7 and 10 a.m. is when he comes to cut these wires out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my saving grace. So I'm just constantly like looking at the time, and so one of the reasons I couldn't sleep earlier was because I heard kids just yelling and playing in the hallway or in other rooms, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And they wouldn't close my door to my room, and I'm like, fuck this. And I could hear one of the rooms like next to mine was blaring their TV, and I'm like, dude, what are you watching? This hospital like doesn't have good cable. They don't have good channels. Like, what are you watching, dude? And so I'm on my phone for 4 hours, and it felt like a million years just because like I'm constantly checking. You know, when you check the clock constantly, just time moves slow.
Yeah.
So 7 a.m. hits, I'm like, where's my doctor? Like, I want these bands out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we save me. And then he comes in at 7:17,
Oh,
and I'm like, fucking thank God. And then he comes in, he's like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, I can't talk. I literally can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
So because my mouth is clenched together and my face can't move because it's all swollen.
Yeah.
Like, my girlfriend could understand me a little bit, but like my doctor was like having a heart attack because I was like, "Oh, you're
okay."
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I talked for like the first week.
Damn.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Oh, let me get those bands out." I'm like, "Oh my god, finally!" So he cuts them out, and like I can open my jaw like a centimeter.
Oh.
And I'm like,
Oh no.
He's like, does that feel better? I'm like, oh. And so he's like, okay, we're gonna get your post-op papers and meet me in my office, and then we'll do a final review. I'm like, and then like that, a thought ran through my head. I'm like, you're in my room, like my patient room right now. why the hell do you want me to go all the way to your office to do this when you're right here in front of me, like right now? And he's like, okay, I'll see you in a bit. I'm like, fuck. And so I was like, okay, let's go see him.
Mhm.
The issue was I couldn't leave my room because apparently they misplaced my switch in the hospital. So I was like, I are you fucking kidding me? And I called my sister and my girlfriend to pick me up, and so they're on their way. And I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna take an hour to an hour and a half for them to get here. Hopefully, I get my switch by then, and hopefully the doctor says I'm okay to go and
Mhm.
I could leave. So it's like 7 a.m. when I thought that. It took them 2 hours to find my switch. So
Yeesh.
9 a.m.
Mhm.
So I was there at 9 a.m. My sister and my girlfriend are waiting in a parking garage. They've been waiting the whole time. I'm like,
Oh.
I'm sorry. I thought I'd get it by now. I thought I'd be out. And so I'm still hella dizzy and I can't move my body properly. So then they have to they helped me walk there, which was a
Mhm.
huge mistake because that just made me feel worse. So we get to his office, which is like another wing of the hospital that we have to go across a bridge to go to.
Yeesh.
So we walk there. It took us 15 minutes to get there because I'm like I can't move.
Mhm.
And so the nurse is like, "Here it is," and she leaves. And I like sit down in one of the seats in his waiting room, and I'm dying. And one of his nurses is like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, "Fucking no." And she puts me in a wheelchair and takes me to the back, and she like puts ice on my head. He's like, "Here you go. That should make you feel better." I'm like, "Thank God, you're way better than those nurses on the other side of the
They
hospital."
fucking made you walk, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, and fucking so I'm sitting there for 20 to 30 minutes. The doctor was ready to see me,
Mhm.
but they're like, yeah, we want to make sure you're okay before you go and see him. And so they do that. I wait for a bit, ice on my head because I'm super dizzy. I have a really bad headache and my face hurts and all that crap. And then I see him. He's like, "Oh, your bite's fantastic. Like it's perfectly aligned. Like it's great." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God." And so then because they took an X-ray, he's like, "Okay, so you have screws here and metal plates here." I'm like, "Wait, when was that a part of the agreement?" So he's like, "Yeah," and then he showed me the X-ray. Apparently, there's four screws in my upper jaw because
Ooh.
I thought I was only getting lower jaw surgery,
Mhm.
but I was getting upper and lower jaw surgery.
Oh.
That's why right now a lot of the swelling is in my upper part of my face because my upper jaw surgery.
Mhm.
So they yeah, so there was like, yeah, we have four titanium screws in your upper jaw, and then you have some titanium screws in your lower jaw at the back ends, and also some titanium plates. And I'm like, what the fuck?
You're cyborg.
Yeah, dude, I'm officially an android or cyborg. Fuck, cyborg. And so then he's like, all right, you're all good to go. Here's your post-op papers. And then I'm like, thank God I can leave. And then the nurses are like, hey, you want to like sit down for a bit, just a little longer? I'm like, no, I got people waiting for me. He's like, yeah, you're gonna sit down. I'm like,
Oh.
okay. So they make me sit down and ice my head again, and then they wheel me all the way to the front of the hospital, the entrance. And then
Mhm.
Erica, my girlfriend, are waiting for me. And I'm like, oh my God, my girlfriend, I love her, I miss her.
No.
And like, I sit in the car, and they're like, how is it? And I'm like, uh.
Oh man.
I gotta say, my nose was bleeding constantly that night.
Mhm.
So they put a little like a gauze thing on the front part. It didn't go in my nose. It went on the front, like right at the entrance of
Oh.
my nostril. And so I took it off, and there was just dry blood all over my face,
Oh.
and my nose. I couldn't breathe through because my nose was just filled completely with dry blood.
Oh.
Yeah, and like they're like, I was like, how do I get rid of this without like making my nose bleed more?
Mhm.
And they're just like, oh, if you go in the shower and like you let the hot water like soften up the stuff. I'm like, okay. I go in the shower. It doesn't soften the dry blood at all. So I just like go ham on this ripping blood out of my face.
Ooh.
It was not. It was really painful, admittedly.
Ooh.
Like my cheeks hurt, my head hurt, my nose, like
My dick
like
fell off.
yeah, my dick. And yeah, um, and that was yeah, it was a hard time. The first week was the worst. The second week was still hella shit,
Mhm.
but it was a lot better. Right now, I'm still dealing with some pain, a little bit. The doctor said the swelling will last a few months. Um, like most of the swelling will go away, like the big swelling, so my face wouldn't look like a blimp.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'll have swelling in specific areas, like my upper face, like I said before, that won't go away for a while, for a couple to three. Like usually he said up to three, like 2 or 3 months. And
Okay.
it's been a month and a half, so I'm like I'd say I'm halfway there. Um, uh, yeah. I had a really weird concern because like my neck started turning yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First, the first night I slept, I woke up and my neck had a big red line, a dark red line across it. I'm like, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, I just got a really bad bruise from the surgery there.
Ooh,
Yeah,
they were pressing
and
down on
so
you.
then yeah, and then like the next few days, like my whole neck turned yellow, and I was like, oh my god, this is a sign of kidney failure because I'm taking so much fucking ibuprofen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cause, like my doctor said, he's like, yeah, you could take 3 ibuprofen and 2 extra Tylenol at once. Take it like once every 8 hours. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, being on that much on painkillers that long, like for like a week to 2 weeks, like I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have kidney or liver failure. And like yellowing of the skin is a sign of that. And so I was like, oh my god, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, it's just the bruise, like the blood traveling down my body
Yep.
from the surgery because I had a lot of a lot of fluid in your face because of the swelling, and that's just natural from it. And then that's about it. Other than that, like I forgot the second or third week, I had a lot of I had a it sounds gross, but I had this discharge from my nose.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't blood. It was a brown watery liquid. So it was like you know, when you have like water that's like and it has like rust in it because they're
Yeah.
like cleaning the pipes. It looked like that,
Ooh.
and it smelled like Batiste, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like freaking out. I'm like, am I like, do I have an infection? And then like I had to like go to the doctor again,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, oh, that's normal. Also, I have a hole in my mouth to my nose, so like I can't like like when you blow up your mouth to like hold your breath in when you're underwater.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I will like blow up my mouth and the air will escape from my nose.
That's pretty cool.
No, it sucks because I would I would like brush my teeth
Uh-huh.
and then I would like rinse my mouth like swish it back and forth and water would come out of my nose and I'm like
Yep.
fuck. Yeah,
Damn, dude.
it was awful. So right now I still do it. I brush my when I rinse my mouth I use a syringe, like one of those like not like one of those like feeding syringes, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, for like when you want to feed a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of those, and I just fill it with water, and I just squirt it in like my mouth to
Okay.
rinse my mouth out and all that. And then so like I have to see my doctor. Originally, I had to see him weekly, but now I see him every 2 weeks because he wants to check up. Because he's like, it's a surgery you have to like you have to follow closely just to make sure it's healing, right? Um, he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to wear more bands, and I'm like, fuck.
Ooh.
He's like, yeah, just because your bite's a little off, just your bite's off just a little bit because your mouth doesn't know where your jaw doesn't know where it wants to rest. And I'm like, fuck. So I used to have to wear for 2 weeks. I had to wear these bands in my mouth 24/7. Now I only wear it when I sleep, so it's a lot better. Um, and yeah, that's about it for my surgery story. Wait,
Yeah, man.
also I couldn't eat, so like because of certain strong surgery. So I've been on a liquid diet.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, I got the munchies.
You got the munchies, bro.
So
When
like
you're
I
able to
finally,
eat again, you're gonna go in.
dude. So like my first week, I was only drinking smoothies,
Mm-hmm.
and like eating yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I was drinking smoothies constantly, like naked, and like making my own berry smoothies, and like I was having milk, some apple juice, and soup. My girlfriend made me chicken noodle soup, but I couldn't eat the stuff in it, so I just drank the soup.
Mm-hmm.
And I've slowly been able to start eating more and more solid food.
Mm-hmm.
But he said nothing too extreme. He's like, if you want to eat pasta, you can eat pasta or like some soft food. And like today, after work, I was like, the cravings are too much. So I went and I bought Wendy's. And I gotta say, dude, I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy I can eat fast food after a month and a half of just drinking liquids.
I can't imagine, dude.
It sucked. Yeah.
Well, this will all pan out in a couple months, and you'll have your Squidward model face.
I'd like to think that I've been really insecure about how my face looks right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like it's not just because I was like when I my thought was I'd get out of the surgery and I'd look the same, but my chin would be smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But the swelling just makes my face look very disproportionate in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just very just like, what if my face always stays like this? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been having like worries like that and stuff. But it's it takes I gotta know it's gonna take a while for my face to finally get back to normal.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my what's up month.
What's up, month?
That was a long tangent.
It throws me back to when I broke my lip open, and I just
Dude, I remember I told my girlfriend that a few days ago.
I'm like, we're on a similar wavelength, but you're obviously far worse off than I was.
Yeah, so she was talking about how one of her like she got hit in the face and her brace cut open her mouth. I'm like, oh my god, Kevin! Like this dude broke a fence with his face.
Surprised I didn't get a goddamn concussion.
Dude, that was a scary but like hella funny night. We had a lot of funny shit that night.
That was a good night.
We're also like, fuck, Kevin's dead.
It's okay. You traded me for another Asian, so it panned out.
It was really, yeah. I thought it was funny.
So my what's up week, I did not have surgery within the past month or so. I did, however, visit my doctors and I got a sleep test done because I have sleep apnea. So they wouldn't let me do an in-lab test. They made me do it in-home because my insurance said no, that costs too much money.
Oh,
Well,
what is sleep apnea exactly?
so around our age, if you're snoring extremely loud, that's not good.
You wake yourself up or something?
So I found out that I'm occasionally choking my sleep. I wake up
What?
choking on my saliva and I'm like coughing. And apparently it's due to like my tongue just rolling back and like closing up my pipes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I should probably get this and among other things checked up about me because I haven't visited a doctor in like 2 years. So, there I'm waiting to hear back on the results. But one of the factors is that if you don't have your tonsils out, that's probably a big factor. So I'm like, am I about to get my tonsils ripped out? Oh hell yeah, it's about time, dude.
I actually heard from one of my doctors, not doctors, from one of my teachers in college.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I was in human biology in college. Um, it was earlier this year or last year, I forgot. I only went to one quarter of college, so it was last year.
Okay.
She said that during when you have tonsillitis, normally they would remove it back then, but now they don't remove tonsils because apparently it has the same properties of like immune system health as like lymph nodes.
Oh.
So like when when you have swollen lymph nodes, that's a sign of like an infection
Mm-hmm.
or a virus or like you're sick. So that's one of the reasons why some people have swollen lymph nodes because they're sick or they have infection, and your tonsils apparently do the same thing, and apparently it helps. So like when you remove them, like it's not good, and they only found that out. I don't know how long ago. Like
Like
they
defenses.
stopped. Yeah, but they said they only remove tonsils as a very last resort type of thing now.
Yeah.
Um,
My tonsils are a-okay. They're not infected, but it is a factor to
yeah.
being annoying at night.
All right. Side note. Sorry. Speaking of sleep, to reduce swelling, I had to sleep upright for the past month.
Ooh, fun.
It sucked. I only stopped like a week and a half ago.
Well, it sounds like we caught you at a good time. Obviously, we couldn't get you in the past couple episodes. Dude,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Admittedly, I couldn't talk properly because I had the wires in my mouth, and also I have a retainer
Mm-hmm.
to help with the placement. To make sure my upper jaw, like what they did for the surgeries, like stays.
Mm-hmm.
I think apparently one of the things they did they expanded my upper jaw by 3 millimeters.
Oh.
And like 3 millimeters isn't shit. It's such a small amount. But it's like yeah, it's like just to make sure it's perfect. I'm like, okay, cool. So the retainer is just to make sure that it doesn't go back to how it used to be. And
Right on.
I'm not wearing it now, so I can talk normally.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry.
No, no worries. Alex and I have a relationship with retainers. He picked me up after my last orthodontist appointment when I had my retainer in, and I talked with a slight lisp, and then I learned how to talk with it.
Did I still don't want to talk with it, man?
I mentioned earlier, I got new all-terrain tires. I changed from my highway tires to all-terrains, so they're snow rated. Um, that's it. It's bigger. I'm gonna go to Ocean Shores. I'm gonna drive down to the beach when I see my girlfriend, probably before we go to the mountains, because I want to take this car in a different environment besides the pavement. I haven't been able to take it off-road anywhere.
Tell.
I've been really into Pokemon cards lately. I've been buying some Pokemon cards, some sets, and collecting them. And I found out that I have one card that's like has a low ceiling price of like $35, and it has like a high ceiling of like 100. I'm like, whoa,
dude, don't get me fucking started about card prices, man.
They're so dumb. Like,
dude,
I should get this one rated and just keep it and not sell it.
Yeah, I had when I was super into Magic a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I would apparently when I would buy my packs, I got this one card that was like, I forgot what it was called. It's like an invocation. Mm-hmm. And apparently they're like super rare cards. I'm like, oh, sick. I'm like, what deck should I put it in? And they're like, are you fucking kidding me? Sell that shit. I'm like, oh, okay. And I sold it. It was like $50 at the high.
Oh no, you should have kept that.
Yeah, you'd be surprised as to like what cards that aren't holographic. Just because the card is a good card, you could sell it for like $10 to $12. I had a lot of cards like that were like, they weren't like super rare, but they were like really good cards that you could sell. And I got two like invocations. One was $30. The high end one was $50.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid, so there's a type of Yu-Gi-Oh card called Ghost Rare cards, right? Mm-hmm. They're super rare. I never heard of them before. There's holographic, there's ultra rare. Apparently, Ghost Rare was the thing I only heard about because I got one. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, sick. And I'm a kid, right? I'm not going to do anything. I can't sell it because I don't know how to because I'm a kid. And so I traded it. Oh. Like an idiot. I traded it because it was a Ghost Rare, so it was really like up there in prices and stuff like that. But I didn't know at the time until like I traded it and the person I traded it with told me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, are you serious? And it was like, back then it was like $50. Mm-hmm. I looked, and right now it is $513.
God damn, dude.
Like I could if I wasn't a dumbass, I could have still had it. Yeah. Other than like, so you're collecting Pokemon cards, right, or something?
Yeah. I want to learn how to play eventually, but I'm just collecting it for the fun, and I understand like the high prices and all that. If I do, like, I might eventually get this one rated and like sealed, but I don't want to sell this thing. Like, I want to keep it for my sake and like hang it up and like this is my prized possession.
It can get like it could totally jump in price later. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been seeing Pokemon like unboxings and stuff. I feel like it's gotten like a lot more like spread out like the past couple months.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. What Pokemon was your card? Like,
it was a full art. I think a Lily full art trainer card. I don't think it was the Rainbow edition though. For the Sun and Moon versions, the secret rares were like rainbow cards.
So it wasn't a rainbow?
No. If you go on eBay and look up Lily full art.
Lily full art.
2017. I think.
Full art. I'm gonna Google it right now. 2017. Yeah. Oh, that's a cute card.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So what's the thing with trainer cards?
I don't know, dude. I don't know how to fucking play.
Dude, one of the pictures. Oh my god! Someone's selling this for $200.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep mine, dude. I don't know why people are so desperate about it. I mean, yeah, it's rare, but I'd want to keep it unless I get another copy. Then sure, I'll sell it. But I want to keep this one.
It's funny because I know I didn't play through Sun. I played through the first 30 minutes of it, and then I was like, "Fuck this."
Um, Speaking of Sun and Moon, I also bought a lot of video games like this past month.
This
Uh,
path, like,
I feel like me and Caroline have like a low key addiction. We just buy games, we don't play them. I do play them for a little bit. I got Hyrule Warriors, Mario Tennis Aces, Yoshi's Crafted World, Pokemon Ultra Moon, RBI Baseball, and Battlefront 2.
mm,
Like
you know
all
what's
within a month.
really fun?
What?
Going onto Steam or the Nintendo eShop
Hmm.
and just browsing like cheap games because you can get some.
That's what I did.
Yeah, dude. Some like what so I love side scrolling platformers.
Yeah.
Like I love like just the art, like some like pixel art, like that shit's fire. So like I forgot what game I bought. I bought Cave Story. I got Cave Story Plus, and like dude, that game's so fun.
Hmm.
It was like $20. I bought Hollow Knight for $20. Hollow Knight's hella fun. Still haven't beaten it because I like when you're in a game and you don't know where to go. That's where I
Yeah.
am right now. I
Oh.
have no idea where I'm going. Like because I'm like constantly looping back. I'm like, well, did I go this way? And I'm like, oh fuck, I did. And I'm going around everywhere except for the place I need to be apparently. But yeah, like just shopping for games is hella fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of those physical because GameStop at a point they had Mario Tennis Aces and Yoshi's Crafted World for $25 each, new.
Mhm.
I'm like, whoa, okay. So I went ahead and picked those up, and I I I got Sephiroth. He's pretty fun to play in Smash.
Wait, he
Sephiroth
came
was
out?
revealed. Yeah, if you like pre-order him and beat the challenge, you can get him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, do it like right after this podcast. We're about to end here soon.
Holy shit.
And then I watched the Super Nintendo Land video for the Nintendo Land Park in Japan at Universal.
Oh, I didn't. Oh yeah, that fuck. I saw that there was a thing for that. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I recommend watch. I wasn't gonna watch it, but I was told to watch it. I recommend to watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
homie, next Japan trip, hit me up.
Dude, get your passport. That's what I've been telling everyone. No one has their passport.
Sorry, I'm just salty. I'm just salty I couldn't go.
Literally, no one could go, and Giovanni couldn't go because he didn't have a passport.
Yeah, I had the money too. I just passed for it.
Passport.
Yeah.
Once the world opens back up, that should be the first thing on your list. Everyone listening to, get your passport. Travel, dude. With that being said, I think that's gonna wrap up all the topics. Didn't have much. I mean, we filled in though a lot of time.
How long have you been
We're
recording?
running at like about 58 minutes right now.
Jesus Christ, how long did I talk about my surgery?
Like 40 minutes.
What the fuck?
But with that being said, any last words, final messages to everyone out there?
uh, I love you guys. To the 5 people that listen to this, sorry 4 because one of those 5 people is me.
Woo!
Because I listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. 2020 has been a tumultuous year for everyone. It's been a great year for me.
Dude, we didn't. You know what we didn't talk about though?
What?
We didn't go on like a year review or anything like that.
That's what episode 27 is for.
Next, like when's that going to be? Early January.
Mid-January.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Early mid-January. We'll do a year in review if I remember. A year in review. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
New Year's goals, and we're done talking COVID. We beat that with the dead. It's dead.
Yeah, we beat that like a dead horse.
Yeah.
You know, I never got that like saying. Why would you beat a dead horse? That doesn't make sense.
A little homework assignment for everyone. Figure out what it means. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Uh,